Hello, Nico, and nice to see you again.
Hi, it's great to see you. It's been years.
It's been years, I know, and a big congrats, by the way, on Happiness for Beginners. It's a fun and engaging film about finding your happiness, and what's not to love about that?
Thank you so much. It was a great project. We had, I don't know. I mean, we had so much fun doing it because we were filming out in the wilderness, and it was just really amazing.
Oh, all right. So, Nico, I talked to you when Superstore started,
Mhm.
when it ended, and then since then, you've been doing some voice work, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as Recorder Theo, and now Happiness for Beginners. That's amazing.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I was really fortunate that when Superstore ended, I kind of was just like, oh God, what am I gonna do next? Am I even gonna work again ever? Who knows? These things that neurotic, anxious-ridden, anxiety-ridden actors always go through, were going through my head. And fortunately, about uh, 4 months after Superstore ended, I did an indie film actually that's going to be coming out way later. I think maybe in a few months, and then the Happiness for Beginners also happened, and I was just lucky that I sort of worked consistently like the year after Superstore, and it was all really great projects because obviously Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, being in a Marvel project is such a bucket list thing, and it was a huge moment for any aspiring actor. So I was so happy to be a part of that. But with Happiness for Beginners, I was just like, I met with the director Vicky White, who is also the writer who adapted the novel by Catherine Center, and I just really hit it off with her. And obviously, when I heard that Ellie Kemper was on board, I was like, ugh, would love to work with her. And it just also by chance happened that this amazing cast was formed. Vicky really got some amazing people on board, like Luke Grimes from Yellowstone, and all the other actors that we have in the ensemble. And it was just a fun group. Like we really were filming in the most gorgeous locales. Like I love being out in nature, but I don't like, roughing it. So I really I always joke with my fiance that nature should be enjoyed within the vicinity of a 5-star hotel, just like God intended. And that's how I like to enjoy nature. So it was really great because we were filming in all these locales, but then you had the privilege of being like, can I have a coffee, please? Can somebody bring me a snack? We were spoiled, but I think the great thing about filming this movie as well was that we couldn't have our trailers where we were filming because it was literally out in the middle of all these beautiful nature trails and waterfalls and all that. And so we kind of just set up a tent between shots with our cast, and we were together for like 13-14 hours, just like getting to know each other. And we just really lucked out that there was no rotten apple in the bunch. Everybody was just great to be around, and we were just kind of just hanging out, with all your buddies. It was great.
When I spoke with Ellie Kemper, who I love, by the way, she
Ah,
was giving you so much praises. I mean, she's how much fun you were in the set. Was the feeling mutual?
yes. I mean, that's the thing about when you sort of work with these people who you're just sort of fans of, and who you've never met. You just never know. You just never know how people are, and what they're like in a working environment. um and I think we just really lucked out that, like I said, like everybody was just like such fun to be around. And also just like Ellie is such an amazing scene partner and just very giving. And like we did a lot of improvising, and yeah, it was just like there was such an ease
Yeah.
being around Ellie, and the way she worked. And not just Ellie, but like I said, like the rest of the cast. There was a familiarity there right away. Like when we sort of like all started working together, we were like, oh, like, you know, it feels like we've known each other for a while. We also were able to rehearse some of the scenes before we started filming, which is, um, you know, you don't usually get that when filming movies and television. So the fact that we had a little bit of a rehearsal process um, was a real help to sort of getting to know each other. So I
Oh,
think that really helped with the chemistry of everybody on screen.
right. It's instant chemistry. Now let's talk about your character real quick. Hugh,
Mhm.
aka Meryl. Describe him for our viewers.
Well, Hugh is, my gosh, I think Hugh is a little bit just like Ellie's character in the movie, who's sort of a little bit lost and is sort of like trying to figure out how to course correct his life as well as just sort of like he's like trying, it's like throwing pasta at a wall, just seeing sort of like what sticks, you know. He is just somebody I think who realizes that it might be a little too late for him.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to, you know, get out there and figure it out as well. But I think he has a little more courage in his approach than Ellie's character does. So he's just really just gonna go for it because, like, you know, like he says in the film, like he just kind of made a left turn along the way and is trying to find his way back. So, but you know, he's just one of those, he's a little extra, and you know, a lot of characters I play are sort of like tinged with this like sort of like extra, but you know, he's very different from the Hugh that was written in the books.
Yeah.
So and that's why when Vicky says like, you know, I'm really interested in hiring you for this character, because I think in the books Hugh is a marathon runner. And you know, honey, like when I was filming these movies, I was still in my COVID pandemic body. I had gained so much weight, you know, because I was going through my pandemic depression. And I was like, well, Vicky, I am obviously not a marathon runner in my physique right now. So we sort of had this wonderful collaboration of what Hugh could be, other than the way he was written, to obviously tailor it to who I was and what I could bring to the character. So yeah, it was really great. And I think like with Hugh and with Ellie's character in the movie, like, you know, I think people will really see a lot of themselves in Hugh if you're somebody who's just like, you know, life, and I know this from my personal experience, life, you know, doesn't always work out the way you want it to. Even for somebody like me who's had a wonderful career and I'm about to get married and so many wonderful things are happening in my life, there are still things in my life that I'm just like, that, you know, that's not where I thought it would be. And that's just life, you know, and how do we deal with those moments? And I think is an interesting, you know, watch to see how these characters go through that.
Well, your character also is a book reader, right? And in the movie, he was reading how Filipino Americans break the rules of race.
Yes.
So, how did we break the rules of race, Nico?
Well, you know, Filipinos, you know, and you hear this mentioned a lot whenever you see programming about Filipino culture, Filipinos in America. Um, we are really good at assimilating, right? And so I think that's why, even though there is such a huge Filipino population here in the United States, you don't really see us in the media a lot. You don't really, you know, like Filipino food isn't as huge. I mean, certainly now there's sort of like this movement that's happening where people are now discovering our food and our culture.
And the
Um,
actors like Nico Santos.
yeah. Well, you know, I am, it's so weird to think of myself as part of I
Of
guess
a
the
movement.
movement of like, you know, bringing awareness to, you know, to our community, our culture. Like I was just a little kid with a dream, you know,
Oh,
back living
Well,
in
but think about it though. I mean, in Superstore, it was really forward thinking. I mean, it put Filipinos on the map with all the things that your character has done in the film. I mean, in the series, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're correct. I sometimes I'm just like, I feel this way sometimes too with you know, being a member of the queer community is like when people are like, well, you know, what do you think about this, or how do you represent Filipinos? I'm just like, I only know how to you know show myself and to live my life as authentically as myself. I happen to be queer. I happen to be Filipino. And, you know, my experience is not indicative of every queer person out there, of every Filipino person out there. Certainly, there are, you know, people can see themselves through my experience. And as many people have out there who have written to me how much my experience have touched them. Um, but I just know how to be myself. And, you know, like I certainly don't want to speak for the entire community. But, you know, but by doing the work that I'm doing, if people are, if that's bringing more awareness to our community in a positive way or whatever, even in a negative way. I mean, that's the thing, like people will see it as positive or negative and will sort of interpret it in their own way. But for me, I'm just going to do my thing and live my life the way I know how to live it, because once you start living your life for other people is where you get into some really rocky territory, because you can't please everybody.
Exactly. Amen to that. Now,
Yeah.
going back to happiness for beginners, I learned the importance of hydration and surviving the
Oh
outdoors.
my gosh.
What about you? What are some tips that you took away from the film, from shooting it?
Yes, always stay hydrated. I mean, we went through sort of like a small camping hiking boot camp for this film, but like all these things about like how you're actually not supposed to wear cotton
Yeah.
when you're doing like a long hike like that, or like, you know, the types of food that you're supposed to pack, because, you know, like certain foods are like really heavier, and like having to, you know, like throw your food, like hoist it up between the trees so the bears don't get to the food. Like there's so many things that, you know, you have to learn when you're doing an intensive hiking trip like this, that I was like, I think in real life, I don't know if I would if I would survive something like this. That's why I would love to hike, but at the end of the day, I want to be able to go back to the Ritz-Carlton.
Well, you know what? Yeah, exactly. Me too. One of the things I learned too, without giving away too much, is don't step on the log.
Yes, you know, you have to. Yeah, that's really true. When you're apparently when you're hiking, don't step on logs or whatever, because it could be dangerous.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
at its heart, happiness for beginners to me, it's about getting really, really lost is your only hope of getting found. You agree with me on that?
Yes, that's such you put that so well. But it is, you know, I think you have to allow yourself to get lost and wander to sort of really know where you want to be and where you want to end up. So I think that's so true.
Oh, now just for fantasy, I know you're like happily engaged and everything, but would you do the same thing as Ellie Kemper's character did in the film? Would you go hiking after a breakup?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I'm certainly have gone through something, well, not a divorce like Ellie's character, but like I think we've all experienced heartache before in our lives. And that is I remember the first time I sort of experienced um uh a heart, you know, my heart being broken, so to speak. Yeah, I really was just like, you know what, I need to disappear for a second, and just I think I did take a trip somewhere. I forget where I took, but like I just was like, I just need to be alone
Yeah.
for a moment and just like, yeah, regroup my thoughts. And but I didn't do it to the extremes like Ellie's character did. But you know, I think what I would do, like I keep saying, is that yeah, I would maybe check into, like, I don't know, maybe go to Hawaii
Yeah.
for like a week and just, you know, sit by the beach for a week and just, you know, be alone with your thoughts while the waves sort of like crash into the ocean. And
Or Boracay?
Boracay, I've never been.
You haven't
I've
been to
never
Boracay?
been to Boracay. Yeah, I really would
Palawan?
like to go. I've been to Palawan because my mom used to live there. But like Boracay is obviously legendary, and I would love to go to Boracay. Boracay, if you're watching and listening, I would love a trip to Boracay, please.
Honeymoon.
Oh my God.
Make
I,
Zeke happy.
Zeke has never been to the Philippines as well, and I've always told him I want to show him the beauty of the Philippines. I would love to take him there.
Oh, now, real quick, what is one tip for beginners on their journey to happiness that you can pass along?
I think, like I said earlier, is like you cannot live your life for other people. You have to make, like Mama Ruth said, if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? But like, I think also happiness is not like a one-stop goal. It's a state.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be happy all the time. That's just not what life is. It's a place that you visit, and it's like you're not always going to be at that place, but when you're there, enjoy it, because know that it's not always a place that you're going to be. So
Oh.
enjoy those moments when you do get to that happiness place.
Now invite our kapamilya to watch Happiness for Beginners, please.
Oh, mga kababayan at kapamilya, please watch Happiness for Beginners, only on Netflix, coming out July 27th, starring Ellie Kemper, Luke Grimes, Blythe Danner, and me. It's a great film. We're really proud of it, so please tune in.
Oh, well, a big congrats on Happiness for Beginners again, Nico. It's always fun to talk to you.
Thank you so much. It's so great to see you.
Oh, and visit us in Palm Springs.
I will, definitely.
Okay,
I'll be there before you know it.
Yay. And may we all find true happiness.
Amen to that.